With the release of the newest game in the franchise, Legend ZA, and its interesting features, this game has offered many new things to bring to the franchise. New megas, new characters, new story, new other things. But, just like any other game that has released ever, there are some downsides to this little pocket monster adventure. No game is perfect though, unless you're Gex, and this game is no exception. There are some downsides to this thing. For example, some designs of the megas have been put into question, especially this thing. I, however, have not been granted the opportunity to play this game yet, because, I'm broke. But judging by the stuff I've heard online, it's a little bit of a hit or miss. And since I haven't played this game yet, that means none of this footage in the background is mine. Credits in the description, I guess. But one of the topics brought up because of this recent release was how the visuals are. Pokemon is most well known for their 2D sprites and handheld gaming. So when translating it to a 3D plane, we had a little bit of an issue. Creatures and monsters once seen from one angle now had to be seen from every angle. And overall, I think they actually did a pretty good job. I mean, just look at Bulbasaur. Glorious. Though there was some people that did not like these changes when it first came out, but it was clear that this was the future of the franchise. But how has these games evolved visually since when it first was transitioned to 3D, aka X and Y? According to many people, not much. Welcome to Guess That JPEG! I will show you one image from the Nintendo 3DS and one image from the Nintendo Switch, and you will have to guess which JPEG is which. You have 10 seconds, good luck! Joke's on you, they're all from the Nintendo Switch. Have I made my point? Like, at all? Now, let me present to you Game Freak's newest game that isn't Pokemon related. Holy shit! What the fuck? This is night and day! Somebody get this game under arrest for assaulting my eyeballs with the most visually appealing game known to man. If Game Freak is capable of making stuff like this, then what the hell happened with this? This game is gorgeous, and to see this come from the same studio that made Funny Monsters game is a bit surprising. But the question is, why is this? Why can't this look as great as this? Well, for one, these games go for two completely different styles. Like I said, one is Funny Monsters game, and the other is Serious Monsters game. Pokemon is a goofy franchise, and it shouldn't really be all that too serious or realistic. And as the 3D games went on, we kind of lost a bit of the magic that came from the 2D sprites and exaggerated proportions. The trainers got taller, they had more options for clothing, and apparently they grew more hair. But the most visually appealing game in the strong lineage of 3D games isn't even a new game in and of itself. I'm of course talking about the technically first, Pokemon game on the Switch. Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. These games are bright, colorful, loud, exaggerated, and I love it. I mean, just look at the screenshot of Sword and Shield compared to Let's Go. This game came out in 2018, and it still holds up really well today. The textures, the animations, the lighting, it's all just incredible. For the first mainline game on the Switch, this was absolutely incredible. I use the term mainline very loosely cause it is a remake and... Pokemon Go? Did they really have to go so hard to make Snorlax's belly rolls look this good? But I can't spend the entire video glazing. There are some compressed images here and there. Some texture/posters on the wall, some props in the environment. They all look a bit iffy sometimes, but it's not too much to drag away from the experience. I'll tell you this much, you won't be able to find that one specific badly textured tree here. Every single frame of this game is just eye candy to see. From the Pokemon, to the people, to the items, to even the ground you walk upon, every single one of them pops out to your eyes. And a mainline Pokemon game generally hasn't looked this good since then. And I mean it too, there isn't a single dull moment in this game. However, there are some reused assets, which is fine, they all still look amazing. Obviously, all the models for the Pokemon are reused, they aren't gonna make new models every time they drop a new game. All the models of the citizens, the houses, or even your own player model are all just spectacular. And yes, in gameplay this all looks incredible, you should see it in the cutscenes. These cutscenes are amazing. They took time out of their day to animate some things that you wouldn't even think about animating for this. Like that one cutscene of that teleporter/body swapping thing, that was genuinely just amazing. The lighting, the character movement, it's all stellar. You can tell they put so much love and care into recreating such iconic scenes for the franchise. These scenes, this gameplay is honestly way better than whatever they put out recently. If I had the option to just have a new game entirely in this style, I wouldn't be against it. You can tell there was genuinely passionate people while working on this entire project. But you know, enough about the visuals, let's talk about the gameplay. The battle mechanics are basically the same from the classic games, but the capture system, not so much. This game takes a lot of liberties from Pokemon Go. If I had to describe this game, I would say it's an amalgamation of Pokemon Yellow with some Pokemon Go injected into its veins. Not that that's a bad thing, this actually really translates well to a new and fresh take. For the first time in my life, I actually went out of my way to catch Pokemon and made an attempt to complete the Pokedex. I'm not doing it though, I'm not catching 151 bastards. It's so refreshing to have a gameplay loop that's not attack, give status effect, attack again, throw balls, pray to Arceus. Now all I have to do is chuck balls, pray. It's such a breath of fresh air to have something I know so well be simplified in such an amazing way. I don't hear this game get talked about as much as the other ones though, and believe it or not, I actually like this game more than what's came out recently. Mainly Sword and Shield and Violet. I can't speak on ZA, cause opinion invalid. And of the time of recording and maybe posting this video, this game is edging 7 years old. Can I still say edging? For a game that's so old now, it's aged like a fine wine. The gameplay, the mechanics, the cutscenes are all a joy to revisit now. I don't really hear anyone talk about this game anymore, and it's a damn shame. Though I'm sure this game does has its diehards like any other, I'm shocked it's not brought up into the discussion as much. This game is a visual beauty, and I'm sure anyone who's played the game would agree with me. The game has its ups and downs, but what game doesn't? This game is extremely calm, relaxing, and even enjoyable to just sit down and play. And maybe, just maybe, we'll have another game just like this, that gives us the same amount of joy and ecstasy as we do now. And hopefully, maybe even more. And that's all I have for you today. Have a nice night, everyone.